with HOTSHOT.com. Today we're going to be talking about trailers. Earlier we were talking about getting into the car hauling industry. Maybe you're intrigued, maybe you're not. But if this is for you, moving on, we're going to check out some different types of car trailers. I have two wedge car trailers here that we're going to be talking about today. They're two of my pieces of equipment. Don't get fooled. Don't think that two wedges are the same exact piece of equipment. Even if they're made by the same manufacturer, two different types of wedges can have two completely different capabilities. There's always strengths and weaknesses, pros and cons. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about it. This first trailer I'm going to talk about here, I'm kind of going blank on the year of it. It's a Kaufman trailer. Look, I really stand behind Kaufman's. I have two Kaufman trailers. I have this Kaufman trailer here, which is a 50-foot wedge, and then I have a Kaufman Max 6, which is a two-tier 7-car trailer. I love Kaufman, not only for the quality of the trailer that they make, but I love Kaufman because of their customer service. It's second to none to any other trailer manufacturer that I've found out there. Their paint seems to hold up, their welds seem to hold up. They build a trailer that's meant to last. If you buy a Kaufman trailer, it's generally going to last 10 years, and I gotta say, I'm not even getting an endorsement to say that. That's just my own personal opinion. Before you purchase any piece of equipment, I cannot stress this highly enough, you need to check with the local laws, the municipalities, the state laws and the federal laws. For the areas that you're going to be operating in. If you're operating outside the United States, you need to check with your federal Department of Transportation. If you're operating here in the United States, what's most important to remember is that what is legal in one state is not necessarily legal in the next. And the reason why I say check with your local municipalities is you need to find a place where you're going to park this equipment, because you're not going to be working on holidays. Most of you aren't going to be working on holidays. So you need to start thinking about where you're going to park it. It is legal to park on streets in some instances, but you need to check with your local government. Don't look for the signs. If it says that parking is legal there, you need to call your city department and make sure that it is still legal for vehicles in excess of certain lengths, because you don't want to get your stuff towed. These videos and HOTSHOT.com is all about saving you money. I cannot stress enough, again, make sure you're checking with your municipalities and your state and local laws. So moving on, and we're going to talk a little bit about strong suits, things you're going to need to look for if you're looking to purchase a trailer, and what you intend on doing. First thing I'm going to talk about is this Kaufman trailer. One thing I want you to notice is that the rear end of this trailer is it seems to be, for me, a lot lower than the average wedge is on the rear end. There's a pro and a con for that. The pros, obviously, for me, is that I can get a lot of lowered vehicles on and off of this trailer a lot easier. I've hauled some pretty lowered vehicles, some drift cars, and getting them loaded on and off this trailer, because the rear end of the trailer sits lower, lowers the incline that comes on. It makes it a lot easier. One of the cons that we have with this trailer, obviously with it sitting lower, is that this trailer does require a drag bar, something you're gonna hear a lot about when you come into wedges. This is my drag bar here, and it's about a 5/8 inch piece of steel that runs from one side to the other, that wears down basically like a shoe and needs to be replaced from time to time to keep the actual structure of the car hauling trailer from breaking down and weakening the integrity. So that's something to think about. One other thing that I really like to talk about while I'm here, looking at the back of this trailer, is Kaufman equips the rear end of this trailer here with what is that, 7 lights. That's probably 2 more than they needed to put on, although I'm not sure about that. But the more lights on the back of the trailer, the better. And the reason for that is we're going to get into this in a future video. Oftentimes with a wedge, you're going to have overhang. Your vehicles are going to hang off the back, and at nighttime it can be different. It can be hard to differentiate between the rear of your trailer and the rear of your vehicle. You don't want to get rear-ended. You want to shine a lot of light back there. Keep people knowing when you're stopping, and keep your running lights on and going. So with that, we're going to move forward. That's something you're going to want to look for. Maybe you live in a place that has more of a hilly terrain, or you're going to be operating in a place that has a lot of rolling hills. This trailer might not work the best for you. I live in a place that has a lot of hills like that. I haven't had a problem, but it's something to consider. The next thing is going to be your deck. Okay, these are diamond plated steel deck, and I like it a lot. It really helps with the traction. That's a pro. I don't have a problem hauling a lot heavier loads as far as like heavier vehicles on this, and I have a lot more faith with it, and it seems to just last a lot longer. The con to that is you don't have as many tie down spots. Kaufman does equip you with these D-rings, and they work pretty good. I've taken the liberty of cutting in holes so that I can strap from different angles and hook chains from different angles, and that seems to work out really well for me. Kaufman also has the ramps here on the rear end. That doesn't really work for me because when you got another vehicle and it's sitting over here, if the vehicle always stopped at the rear end of the trailer, loading and unloading the ramps might not be as painful as it would if you're actually operating like a wedge like a normal person, and your vehicles are sticking 2 feet off the rear end and you've got to crawl under them to get them on. I'll show you where I keep my ramps on the side. I'm not sure if it's something that comes standard with Kaufman. I know it's something they're doing with a lot more trailers these days, and keeping the storage of the ramps on the side of the trailer. But moving on. So I keep my straps here on the side. I live in an area where I don't have to worry about people stealing them from me. This is what we refer to as a straight strap. I'll go over that here a lot more in other videos. But you are going to have to consider the types of straps you use based upon the deck. If we're using a smooth deck a lot like this, straight straps seem to be the easier way to do it. There's also hoop straps and lasso straps you can use with this kind of method. Basket straps work really well with this method as well, because you can tie from either side. It's just all about what you're going to do. If you're going to be running larger vehicles like trucks or vans, which work really well with wedges in certain scenarios, straight straps seem to work really well for me. One of the best configurations about a wedge is it enables you to haul an oversized, what we would consider in the HOTSHOT car hauling market as an oversized vehicle. And one of my favorite loads to load onto a wedge that pays really, really well is a good Sprinter van. And it's like these things were meant to haul these Sprinter vans going down the road. You don't have to worry about the height as much on the rear end of this wedge, which enables you to haul those larger vehicles. And those larger vehicles can't be hauled by most of your larger car haulers unless they're equipped with a certain trailer that I'll show you in another video that allows them to do that in a more efficient, easier way. So that's a plus on having a wedge. Next, I'm going to talk about axle spread, and this is definitely something that you're going to want to take a look at when you look at getting into the car hauling market. I know that some of these guys, some of these manufacturers out there, they're putting tandem axles on there, and to tell you what a tandem axle is, tandem axle would be just 2 axles, but they would be dual, so there would be a tire on the inside and a tire on the outside. Now, there's pros and cons. Obviously, one of the first pros to having a triple axle trailer is that you have to buy 2 less tires. One of the cons is the swing method. And if you can come on in here, I'll show you what the swing method is. When you have to make a tight turn, okay, your trailer swings left and right. Unfortunately, this center wheel right here is the only one that spins, and one of these tires is pushing and one of these tires is going to pull. Now, if you try and flip around really fast and you drag one of these tires or push one of these tires too fast, they are known for popping off their bead. That does also eliminate the possibility of running retreads. Highly dangerous to do with a triple axle trailer. If you have a tire guy that is okay with putting retreads on a triple axle trailer, you've got the wrong tire guy, okay? Either he doesn't know what he's doing or he doesn't care and he's only in there for the money. So, The only other thing that I really like to talk about this is something. Let me come on in here and I'll show you something else too. This is an equalizing setup. If you can come on in over here, I'll show you. This equalizing setup right here. And basically the way that works is my axles are going to go up and down given the different terrain of the road. One other thing that I really like about this setup is, and I'll show you this when we get down there, is it's a more forgiving setup when you're getting loaded. The rear end of your truck, when you take a load of weight, is going to sink down, and so is your trailer. Before, you know, this method kind of came out, and this method's been out for a while, all three of your axles used to weld to the frame, which is one thing that I do have on another trailer here, and I'll show you that. All three axles were just welded to the front, or all three leaf springs were basically shackled directly to the frame. So if your trailer was off kiltered, it meant that one tire took more of a load than the other. A rocker setup is more forgiving in this sense that it keeps equal distribution, or theoretically would keep equal distribution of the weight across all three tires. This is going to save you a lot of money in the long run as far as tires go and wear and tear on the tires. Which is a huge expense for people running hot shots. The only other thing I can tell you is, as far as wheels and tires go, is always go with the good tires. I made this mistake for about 6 months. We ran the 10-ply truck tires, which you see here, and it was nothing more than a headache. They constantly broke. They constantly were popping, or we were constantly having issues with them. I tell you, the smartest thing I ever did was listen to a tire guy in Beaver, Utah, and take and buy these. These are a 14-ply steel sidewall tire, and I tell you, man, I have put, I don't even know how many miles on this thing, and they still look like they did the day I bought them. They're the best tires I've ever bought, and as soon as these 10-ply tires here wear out, I intend on putting some 14-ply tires on this rear axle back here. One other thing to talk about is there's a difference. There's two different preferences. You have oil bath axles. Not sure if they make them in the 7s and the 7000s or the Super Single 8000s that I have over there. In this in this setup with a wedge, I prefer to run the grease axles or the grease hubs over the oil bath axles. It just seems to be more forgiving. I get out there about once every load, and I shoot some grease in there and make sure I've got some good grease on the back end. I use a Lucas red and tacky synthetic grease. It seems to be the best stuff. Don't go cheap in this instance. This is not this isn't a piece of farm equipment that we might run once or twice a year. This is something we're putting a lot of weight on. Not only does your life depend on it, but your business depends on it, your downtime, time with your family, time however you want to spend it. It depends on you doing everything you can to keep yourself away from being broke down on the side of the road. So that's my suggestion. I go with the grease axles. I like the 7,000-pound axles. They've been really good to me. If you can go with Super Single 8000s, they're a way bigger, heavier duty axle. It seems like it's a little bit harder to find parts for them than the 7,000s, but with online shopping, it's become a lot easier to find parts and get these things. I wouldn't consider people having parts for the Super Single 8000s as readily as they're going to have them for the Dexter 7,000-pound axles that I have here. So.